Our textbook is The Devil's Pulpit, and the author is the Reverend Robert Taylor. Okay? So let's get into where we left off. Page. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that. All right. Page 86. Page 86. So I'm not going to do a review. Again, Christ, that is the S-U-N Son, is most literally the mediator, the go-between, between Gad, that's G-A-D. So Gad is a form or is a equivalent spelling of God, G-O-D. So you can replace any vowel, or you can exchange any vowel with another vowel. It's still meaning the same thing, Gad. Now, Gad is also the first tribe of Judah. Gad is also Aries, which is the first sign of the Zodiac in modern astrology. But, just so you'll remember, our ancient ancestors recognized the beginning of the year as Virgo. Okay, that was the during the reign or the height of the Kemetic Empire or Egypt. All right. So you should recall that before Pisces, it was Aries the Ram. Before Aries the Ram, it was Taurus the Bull, right? And it goes on backwards. So our ancient ancestors recognized Aries as being the beginning of the natural year. And when I say Pisces, I'm talking about the zodiacal age. So if we are in fact in Aquarius, if this is the age of Aquarius, the age was Pisces before Aquarius. Before Pisces, it was Aries, and before Aries, it was Taurus. And you can continue, okay? But the natural year, according to our ancient ancestors, began with Virgo, which is the covenant of grace. Mother Earth gives everything to you, okay? As opposed to Gad or Aries, the covenant of labor, work, where you need to work for everything. That means you're a bondwoman. You have no inheritance. I hope everyone can see that. So if you have no inheritance, you're basically screwed. You're basically screwed, okay? All right, now let's continue. I don't know why, I think it's the pollution. It's worse today than what it usually is. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, let's continue. Okay. So again, Christ, that is the S-U-N Son, is most literally the mediator or between Gad, G-A-D, God, G-O-D, Gid, G-I-D, God, G-U-D, and Ged, G-E-D. Same thing, equivalent, okay? This is God, this is Zeus, this is Odin and Woden, Sirius, the master, magi, magistrate, all of that we've already covered before. So Christ is the Gad, or the go-between, between Gad and man, or between God and man. Because the fixed stars which compose or make up the tribe of Gad, the fixed stars that make up the tribe of Gad, that's Aries. And all the other tribes of the celestial Israel, so there are 12 tribes of celestial Israel, that would be what? The 12 zodiac signs. The first is Gad. So these 12 tribes are all sun systems of their own. Let me repeat that. Because the fixed stars which compose or make up the tribe of Gad and all the other tribes of celestial Israel are suns, S-U-N-S, to systems of their own. And our Earth's annual motion around the sun throws the S-U-N sun, or makes him, meaning the sun, S-U-N sun, seem to go between us and those measurelessly remote fixed stars. In other words, let me see if I can demonstrate. So let's say here's us on Earth, and here's our sun, and here are the other planets. So y'all can easily see that as the Earth rotates around the sun, we see different stars in our view, but the S-U-N sun is in the middle, so therefore it is the middle, or the go-between, between what we see when we look up. We see the sun, but beyond the sun we see the other stars. We see the 12 tribes of Israel. Does everyone see it? So the sun, if this is the sun, indeed is the go-between. That's what the author is saying. So in that sense, Jesus is in fact the mediator, right? Jesus is in fact the mediator in that sense. As only walk around the table with your eyes steadily directed to any fixed object on the table, you will see that the object with relation to other distant parts of the room, we just demonstrated this, exactly opposite to them, changing its point of orientation as you change your situation. So I just demonstrated it, but I'll do it again so that no one is confused. So imagine this big cup. The big cup, this is all of the tribes of Israel. The little cup is the sun, our sun. And this is the earth. Okay? So, no matter where we move, if we're looking up, we're going to see the sun, right? Y'all see it? The sun is always in the middle of what we see. So it's the go-between. So that's how Christ is the go-between. Okay? Christ is the mediator between God, or Gad, and man, according to our author. Now let's continue. And thus, while you alone are moving, the object on which your eye is fixed will seem to be moving, and thus will be a mediator or intercessor at all times between you and the more distant fixed objects, as we just demonstrated, by which alone you can measure the change which is going on, not in their position but in yours. Y'all got that? So as the earth moves, the earth is going around its rotation, its orbit rather. If y'all believe any of this stuff, the sun is going around its orbit, right? But no matter what position we are, we'll still see the sun between everything else. Does everyone see that? Okay? We see the sun first and everything else beyond the sun. All right. So let's continue. And now look, sirs, upon the starry heavens, or for your greater convenience, on this most accurate picture of them, that's the starry heavens, upon this beautiful toy, the celestial globe. So y'all can Google a celestial globe. It's nothing but a globe like the earth, but it has all of the constellations. That's all it is. That's the celestial globe. The great liar from the beginning. Now we have been taught, conditioned, brainwashed to believe that this great liar is Satan the devil, right? The father of the lie. We get that in the New Testament, correct? But anyway, let's continue. So you look at the celestial globe, the great liar from the beginning, that is not the moral, but the physical liar, the constellation Cetus. So we did this last time. I'll go through it anyway. So liar, now we think liar as being someone who doesn't tell the truth. But in this case, Cetus is physically lying above. Cetus is physically lying above Leo, Virgo, and what's the other one? A Cancer, if I remember correctly. But anyway, let's let the author speak. So this Cetus is a constellation, a huge constellation. Cetus is the greatest or the biggest constellation of all the heavens. Just at the beginning, at the point of the vernal equinox, so that would be around March 21, y'all. Around March 21, that would be the beginning of the spring. But the physical liar, the constellation Cetus, the largest of all heaven, just at the beginning, at the point of the vernal equinox. So you can see Cetus at the vernal equinox. What do we see? What's different about Cetus? Cetus slips out of the zodiac. So you know the Maserat. This is the circle or the wheel or the path of the zodiac. It's a circle like this. It's a circle like that, y'all. That's the Maserat, the path. That's the old path that I believe maybe Jeremiah in chapter 6 or maybe Isaiah, I don't remember. But the Most High says, return to the old path, but my people said we will not. Well, that old path, that's the Maserat, the Zodiac, the Zoad. So Cetus slips outside of that belt. Y'all follow me? Where does this occur? Where does it occur? It occurs in Aries, right at the beginning of Aries, March 21. Okay? So Cetus is a constellation. So that means some of the stars of Cetus are outside of the zodiacal belt, which is the Maserat, which has the root Zoad. All right, Z-O-A-D. You can get that from that's common knowledge, but I believe it's also in the Zodiac and the Gospels. Okay, So now, back to the topic of the great liar from the beginning, that is, not the moral liar, which would be not telling the truth, intentional deceit, but the physical liar, the constellation Cetus. Y'all see how they're playing with these words? The largest of all heaven, just at the beginning, at the point of the vernal equinox, slips out of the zodiac. So that's what is meant by the father of the lie. Y'all got it? In the gospel, the father of the lie simply means that part of Cetus lies outside, physically lies outside of the zodiac, but it was remixed to create a fictional character in your brain called the devil, who is a liar and the father of the lie, and he's out to get you. Y'all see the remix? Cetus lies above Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. So yeah, he lies above. So they remix that into a liar, as in, like I said, a person who intentionally deceives you. Now let's continue. He abode not in the truth, and is, as his eternal punishment, condemned to follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth. Now the Lamb is Aries, right? Aries is Gad, G-A-D. Let's continue. And here you see, most literally, quote, he walketh about, seeking someone whom he may devour, end quote. He abode not in the truth. The Most High said, return to the old path. Return to the Maserat. Return to the Zodiac. My hands are in this position. I want to show you the zodiacal belt. Don't think I'm doing a hand sign. I'm not. I'm trying to give you a mental image. A mental image of what the zodiac looks like. Now, I have videos y'all can look at, or y'all can send in some donations, some fiat, so I can have someone produce these images, do original art, because I can assure you, this stuff is not easily attainable, and the work that I've seen is confusing if you can find it. But you won't find it specific for the purposes that we need it. So if y'all want it, if y'all support it, then I'll have an artist create these images exactly as they are in the book, and we can see it, and it will serve as a tremendous learning tool. All right? So he abode not in the truth. Part of him, part of Cetus is outside the wheel or the circle of the zodiac. All right, y'all? Now let me put it like, well, anyway. So therefore he does not abode in the truth. In my Father's abode, there are many mansions, or many what? Many houses. What houses? The houses of the zodiac, or the mansions, however you want to look at it. There are many zodiac signs. There are 12. All right? Let's continue. And here you see most literally, quote unquote, he walketh about, seeking whom he may devour, end quote. Whom says the cloven-tongued and double meaning apostle. Resist. Y'all should have been in class yesterday, or this morning for y'all. Y'all should have been there. We went through Ephesians chapter 6, verse 2. And we don't usually deal with the New Testament, but it just came up from some conversation. And we discovered some phenomenal things exactly related to double-tongued and double-meaning words, double-tongued apostles. Well, I'll just say one. And these words that have double meanings. I wish y'all could have been there to see it for yourself. It's one thing for me to say something, but if I say it, it's so far away from what you believe. It's so far away from your indoctrination, you would not believe me. You wouldn't believe me. You'd have to see it for yourself. But everybody's invited to come. Saturday, 10 a.m. The link, Eastern Standard Time. Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link is in the description area of the video. 506, the Curses course. All right. So whom says the cloven tongue and double meaning apostle? Y'all all know who this apostle is. Resist, steadfast in the faith. That is, quote unquote, do you stand fast in the Zodiac, out of which my master, he's talking about the devil, made a slip. So he's associating the devil with Cetus, right? The largest of all the constellations. So Cetus is the dragon. Cetus is the whale. But anyway, let's keep going. Out of which my master, and by the way, those of y'all who are new here, he says my master, not because he's worshiping the devil, but because he started to tell the truth about how the scribes, the Catholics, all the religious leaders are using the Gospels and other scriptures treacherously to trick people, how they're using language, specifically etymology, science, philology, astronomy and astrology, and history to fool you into giving up your nationality and consenting to be in a civilly dead state, to be Civiliter Mortuus. Through, I hope I drill this home enough where nobody forgets it, through Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, shipping you off into a civilly dead state on the good ship Jesus. All right? So, those religious leaders branded him as a preacher of the devil to turn people away from him, to make the people afraid to listen to him or to even talk to him, because he was exposing their lies. See, once you know the etymology, once you know, let me put it like, once you know the code, once you know the gospel buster, then you can easily, if you want to, free yourself from fear of the devil, free yourself from fear of burning in hell, but more importantly than that, you can return to the Most High, truly return to the Most High. That's only possible if you exit religion. You cannot be out here thinking, behaving in manners that have absolutely nothing to do with nature, and in fact that are totally disconnected from nature. You're already in your lower self, which means you're already functioning as a devil and a Satan, as an opposer to Christ. You are in fact an antichrist in the most literal sense. How about that, y'all? How about that, you Christians and Hebrew Israelites? When you are in your lower self behavior, that's obvious. I don't have to explain what that is. You are a devil. You are an opposer. The Hermetic laws show us this. The Hermetic law, the law of polarity, the law of opposites. Christ is here, summer solstice, June 21. Satan is here, December 21. Light and darkness, opposite ends of the same line, but they have the same nature. This is you and your higher self, where you are the Christ, right? You're the master of your own ship. You're God, connotatively speaking. You are the Christ. But at the opposite end, or the opposing end of the same line, which is your lower self, opposite, opposer, Satan opposes Christ. Higher self, lower self. The lower self opposes the higher self. The lower self is an opposer of the Christ. That's an antichrist. Okay? So again, this double-tongued, double-meaning apostle says, resist steadfast in the faith. That is, or this quote means, do you stand fast in the Zodiac, out of which my master made a slip from the very beginning, and the devil, a bit will my master be able to catch you. So what is it saying? What is it saying? Cetus, the constellation Cetus, since forever, part of it existed outside of the Mazarah. That's all it's saying. Nothing more, nothing less. Quote unquote, resist the devil and he will flee from you. That is, turn your backs on him and you'll find he's going the other way. Why? Because it's moving. The sun is moving. Well, it appears that the sun is moving, right? As the earth rotates around its orbit, right? It goes from one constellation or one zodiac sign rather to the next. All right? His infernal majesty never thinks a soul worth dodging after. He always keeps straight forward in his course, and quote unquote, he hath no variation or no variability, nor shadow of turning. See, the celestial bodies, they're like a finely crafted watch. They're precise. In fact, it's the best timepiece. The celestial bodies, their motions in relation to one another, they are unchanging and unchangeable. Okay? That's what he's talking about. So this natural physical phenomena has been remixed, rewritten, or personified, given the personality and characteristics as a man or a woman, and have been used to torment and torture and terrorize people all over the world. But he's nothing more than the Wizard of Oz in the movie, standing behind the curtain, pulling the levers, right? Creating illusions in your mind, making you think that there was some external God out to get you if you didn't do exactly what the deity said. Y'all see that? Everybody remembers the Wizard of Oz and how that story went down, right? It was all a mind game, all a big bluff. I posted a community post with something to do with Toto. Remember the dog Toto? spelled backwards. It's Oto, O-T-O-T-O. Y'all should check that post out. Give you insight on what that means. Of course, dog is spelled backward, but there's more to it. I'm sorry, God is dog spelled backward, but there's more to it than that. If you want to know, if you check it out, like the post. Don't come in and drink up all the liquor, and don't leave nothing. Drink up all the liquor for free. People used to do stuff like that when I was in my 20s. All right, y'all. Don't go over somebody's house and drink up all their liquor. All right. So let's continue. But look now at the allegorical joys and sorrows, desires and fears of the astronomical David of the Old Testament, and the no less astronomical son, S-O-N, son of David of the New. Oh, so I must have covered this whole page. Yeah, I did. Ah, man. Well, let me finish this paragraph, and then we're going to skip back to where we should be, okay? All right. So back to the S-O-N, son of David of the new year. Says he in the 22nd incantation. Right, that magical talk, that soothsaying, quote unquote, fat bulls of Bashan. So when you hear bulls, you should automatically know Taurus, right? The zodiac sign Taurus. Fat bulls of Bashan close me in on every side. Why? There they are, in the Taurus of April, in which every year the sun is literally enclosed, right? So the sun goes literally all the way, or it appears to be literally all the way in Taurus. Y'all see that? So it is enclosed. Okay? Says he in the spell of Matthew, in the spell, the incantation, the magical statement, quote unquote, suffer the little children. So when you see little children, you should already think what, scholars? Gemini. Suffer the little children to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Why, there they are in the Gemini, or twins of May. So Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Where you shall see them lords of the ascent every year at the point of time when, quote, from opening the fields of otherwise displayed, child of the S-U-N sun, refulgent summer comes. So why is that? Because from the winter solstice, the sun changes directions from south. It begins to ascend or spring northward. Y'all got it? So lords of the ascent, that's the two twins. Two boys, not two animals, or not animals, okay, y'all? So lords of the ascent. Or cries he again in the 22nd Psalm, quote unquote, oh, save me from the lion's mouth. So when you hear lion, you should think Leo the lion, the zodiac sign Leo. Thou that hast heard me also from among the horns of the unicorns, rather. Why, there never were such animals as unicorns upon earth, except in the little baby's song and in the big baby's babble. So still baby, childish state of mind, right, of the adult and the child, quote unquote. The lion, that's Leo the lion, and the unicorn are fighting for the crown. The lion beat the unicorn and drove him around town. All right, y'all? So there you have it. The unicorn is coming from mythology. But here, sirs, is the very astronomical crisis to the accuracy of the setting of a watch, of the allegorical adaptation. The allegorical adaptation simply means the remixing or the rewriting or the personification of natural phenomena, astronomy, astrology, and in a lot of cases, y'all, it's going to be the weather, into an anthropomorphic character. Y'all got it? So they just remix it or rewrite it, give it a name, give it a personality, give it a history, and they tell you that this is a person that really existed, really lived. And this is his biography. All right, y'all? Remember, the Gospels are a play. It's a tragedy, a tragic play. Okay? Keep that in mind. But it did not start out that way. No, everybody knew that it was an allegorical story, simply showing you the movement of the sun on a yearly basis through the Zodiac. But it was later weaponized. It was weaponized by the Brotherhood of Saturn, the dark Babylonian priesthood. All right, the worshippers of Zoroaster, the Black Prince. Y'all got it? Translated into Latin first. Well, it was actually written in Coptic Egyptian. Translated into Latin, and then lastly translated into Greek, as it was as the gospel traveled up into Europe, and the Goths and the Visigoths did a lot of that translating. All right, so this is Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. And all of your Bible translators that you trust, use 1611 King James only Bible people. Well, your scribes have lied to you big time. And they're your gods. That's the fact. They're your gods. Because they're giving you the word of God. And you're carrying it out. Or at least you claim you are. And they can change this. Well, let me repeat that. They have changed this. And they have changed that. You can check it. Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. So you think you're worshiping God. But no, you're worshiping man. You're worshiping these scribes. These Bible translators. That's who your God is. That's why it's so important to write the book of the law in Ancient Ibaryath and modern English, and to show the etymological meaning of every word, how every word is constructed with the grammar rules, and to restore nature, natural law principles, natural law concepts, and the astronomy, astrology, so you can see what it means for yourself. For yourself. That's how you return to the Most High, through education and self-education. Nobody can teach you. Even right now, I'm presenting this work. But it's up to you to teach yourself. I'm just delivering it. As a matter of fact, I'm putting it in your hand in such a way that it's so easy to understand. It is so easy to understand, and it takes so little effort to sit here and watch this video and listen to it. That you have no excuse. If you have the normal capacity to learn, right? You have no excuse other than you're indifferent, you don't want to find time, you don't care, or you're lazy to learn, as they say in Asia. All right? And that's just a fact. Hold on, y'all. I got an eyelash in my eye. Okay, so let's continue. All right. So, but here, sirs, is a very astronomical crisis to the accuracy of the setting of a watch. So we're talking about a crisis, an astrological crisis of the allegorical adaptation of that incantation. Remember, y'all, we're dealing with magic. We're dealing with magic. The magi, okay, brainwashing, etc. The Gospels, okay, derives from God's spell. Who is God? Zeus. Y'all know that Poseidon, who resides in the god of the sea, y'all know that's also Zeus. So you're talking Raphaim already in Nephilim. Titans, all the hybrids, right? There are two sets of hybrids. But anyway, let's continue. Where you see the sun, so that's right. That's right. So when you pray to God and you say, God gonna do this to you because, and you start doing everything that most of y'all good Christians do about what God gonna do, you're talking about what the Nephilim are gonna do, what the mermaids are gonna do, what Annis is gonna do, what Dogon or Dagon is gonna do, what Zeus is gonna do, what Neptune is gonna, all of that. That's what you're saying. So you're convicted by the words that come out of your mouth. Okay? So where you see the Escheat and sun by rising up into the arms of the little children, right? Who are the little children? Gemini, the lords of ascension. Just contrives to make his escape, that is, the sun tries to make its escape from the horns of the unicorn, or from the horns of the unicorns, and has now to look out for the next upcoming danger, and he must make a dip to the niceties of a hair's breadth to clear the lion's mouth. So it's nothing but a story about this, the Escheat and sun entering in, going through, and exiting these two zodiacs, these two zodiac signs, okay? And quote unquote, oh, deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog. All right, so this is clear, right? Oh, make thy way straight before me, end quote. Let me not be attracted from my course by the power of the dog in the south. So of course this is the dog constellation, right, y'all? When he rises helically with me in the summer. So the dog constellation in the summer will rise with the sun. So when it's summertime, the sun is in the summer, the dog constellation will rise helically as the sun is rising. It's going to rise up until when? It's going to ascend northward until June 21, where it reaches its highest point in the northern part of space, in which case the sun is called the Christ at that position. That's the position of the summer solstice. Okay, y'all? Let's continue. Nor let me be worried by them in the long nights of winter. So remember the dog constellation, this is the canine, right? I believe they're in Sirius. Winter is in the south. The sun reaches its lowest point in the southern part of space on December 21. Right, y'all? When, quote unquote, in the evening, they will return, grin like a dog, and go about the city. This is Psalms 59. Now, you should recall what the author has told us on previous pages, that Psalms is full of, the book of Psalms is full of astrotheology, full of references to astronomy, okay? Full of astronomy or astrology. So he's demonstrating that now. So I'm not going to go to page 88 because we did it already and it requires too much explaining. So actually we stopped on page 89. Yeah, we stopped on page 89. So let's go down to the last paragraph. No, let's start on the paragraph about Adam because I like that. So page 89, we'll start on the paragraph about Adam. So, of course, this is the solstitial line. This is the equinoctial line. So this is the cross. Y'all see the cross? So we're going to talk about this right now, y'all. We're going to talk about this physical phenomenon. Okay? What does this have to do with Adam? Okay, so here we go. Page 89. And who the devil was Adam, A-D-A-M, that any transgression of his should go into such a damnation scrap? But that's a really good question, right? I mean, that's a very legitimate question. Why who? Who was Adam? But whom the name itself literally signifies. So Adam is two radicals, Ad and Am. AD is the first radical, and Am is the second radical. Y'all see it? Take a look at that. Ad, Am. Ad, Am. Two radicals, Adam. Y'all see the power of etymology. Now, this is not in your Strong's Hebrew and Greek lexicon. Not even in Brown Driver's Briggs. But anyway, let's continue. And this is older. This author gave this sermon in 1830. There was no Strong's lexicon at that time. I don't even think there was a Brown Driver Briggs. But y'all check it. I think those came in the later part of the 1800s or even maybe early 1900s. I don't remember right now. Okay, but anyway, let's check it out. Okay, so Ad, Am. Ad means the Lord. L-O-R-D. The Lord, and Am means the fire. So the Lord, fire. Adam means the Lord, fire. So who is Adam? Ad, Am, the Lord, the fire, quote, that is the Son, the S-U-N, Son himself. What is this telling us, y'all? Do you recall On many occasions, I went over that our body has a miniature sun in it. Y'all remember that? We have the sun in the sky, the sun sun in the sky, which provides heat so that we can live. Well, we have also a sun in us. Maybe you can call it something similar to like a battery pack or a battery, a power source. And that power source facilitates metabolism, heat, and other functions that allow us or enable us to live. So for example, well, I'll leave it at that, but let's continue. So Adam, that is the sun, the sun sun himself, who has been transgressing for the last 3 months most horribly. How is he transgressing? Well, it looks to me like he's talking about the sun in the sky, as the sun is what? Falling from its position in the summer solstice. Remember, it reaches its highest point. The sun sun achieves its highest point in the northern part of space on June 21, 22. But on June 24, it's either June 24, 25, which is John the Baptist Day, the sun is descending or falling south. Falling south. So if the sun, sun, is Adam, Adam fell. Adam fell southward. The sun changed direction from going north to now descending, falling south. Adam's transgression. Everybody see that? Now let me see if the author, if I'm correct. Okay? So Adam is the sun, sun, sun himself, who has been transgressing for the last 3 months, most horribly, sinking lower and lower into inequity or unevenness, and giving us such miserable days that if he does not mend his manners, in other words, if he don't stop sinning, if he don't stop traveling southerly, if he don't stop falling and begin to lengthen the days again, the only way to lengthen the days is to what? Turn around, repent. Do a complete turnaround. Stop going south and start going north. Stop falling, stop descending, stop traveling northward, repent, fully turn around, change your ways, stop your behavior, repent, and start traveling northward, spring up, start to ascend northerly, so that the number of daylight hours will increase, so that the ongoing generation can appear, so that the snow will melt, the ice will melt, and men and women can start going outside, meeting each other, right? Making babies. The plants can start growing again. But if the sun, if Adam continues to sin, if he continues to transgress the law, if the days continue to get, if the number of nighttime hours each day continue to increase, well, what's going to happen to you? You die. That's what they say in Vietnam. You die. Right? You need the sun. The sun is your risen Savior. Without the sun, you die. Okay? So this is what's being talking about. Now, what's the inequity? What's the inequity and the unevenness? Well, again, the inequity, let me, not that. Equity, equinox, all right? Equinox, 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night. At the vernal equinox and at the autumn equinox. Okay? So at the equator, which is 0 degrees, we have 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night twice a year. In the north, at the Tropic of Cancer, we have 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night once a year. And then, of course, in the south, the Tropic of Cancer, we have 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night once a year. So at the equinoctial points, there is evenness. See, 12 and 12 are equal. It's even. It's even. It's equal. Y'all see it? Hence equinox. Equal. But every point in between. So for example, as the sun is rising, the number of daylight hours are not equal to the number of nighttime hours. Why? Because the daylight hours are increasing. But at the summer solstice, that's going to change. Now the sun will begin to fall. Adam starts sinning. Adam begins to transgress. The sun is falling. Now the number of nighttime hours are increasing. Y'all see it? The number of nighttime hours are increasing. So it's still not 12 hours a day and 12 hours of night. But at the fall equinox, now we're back to 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. But something special happens. When Christ gets crucified, when the sun crosses below the fall equinox or the celestial equator. So y'all see it? The sun is traveling, is falling, Adam is sinning, and he crosses below. Christ gets crucified. Christ is the second Adam. Right? Christ is the second Adam. Christ gets crucified. And then when we get into November, right? We get into November, wow, that's a big sign that winter is coming. Now the nighttime hours, when the sun crosses below the autumn equinox, the nighttime hours are increasing until there's more nighttime hours than daylight hours. Y'all see it? And nighttime hours reaches their maximum at the winter solstice, which is December 21. And then Christ is dead for 3 days. The sun doesn't cast a shadow for 3 days. All right? And then the sun is resurrected, and the whole process repeats itself. Okay, so that's where the concept of inequity, injustice, and justice, and righteousness, and unrighteousness comes from. Y'all see why Adam fell now? Okay, now let's continue. Oh, and by the way, I almost forgot to mention that St. Thomas doubted whether the sun would ever rise again from the winter solstice. Why? Because it stopped casting a shadow for 3 days. So that's why Thomas doubted, and then that was remixed into the gospel story, right, where Thomas wants to put his finger into the womb of Jesus, and that's where we get the phrase doubting Thomas from. Okay? But there's nothing wrong with doubting. See, doubting is called thinking. See, if you didn't doubt, if you didn't question, you would accept any and everything. You'd be somebody's fool. So doubting, that's part of science. You doubt it, you question, prove it. Prove it. Right, y'all? Since we're actually, look, y'all. Winter solstice. What dominates in the winter? Black, right? Blackness, darkness. Saturn is associated with black, dark, right? With dark. Saturn is the punisher. But what else are we dealing with? Zoroaster. Zoroaster, the deity and the clergy of Zoroaster. The magicians, the magi, the magistrates who wear black robes, who claim to have authority and jurisdiction over you, who claim to have authority and jurisdiction over you. If you don't doubt it, if you're not a doubting Thomas, you'll never search to find out who you are. You'll be sitting around here talking about, I'm black, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim. You know nothing about your nationality. And you will remain in a civilly dead state, condition, where you cannot inherit or give an inheritance. You'll be in a condition where what? You have bloodied the covenant or corrupted the blood of the covenant. Okay? So if that being in a black robe in a corporate court or alleged court, a statutory court, let me put it like that, claims to have power and authority over you, be a doubting Thomas. Make them prove it. Make them prove it. Where is your delegation of authority? Per the Constitution of the United States of North America, where is your delegation of authority? Prove you have authority. Prove you have jurisdiction. Otherwise, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. All right, y'all? That's got to be our attitude. A doubting Thomas. Prove it. Show me that delegation of authority. Show it. So we enforce our rights. Okay, but if you don't doubt, if you don't question, you're still finished. Okay, because you're finished right now in your 14th Amendment status. You're done. So that's why great men like Noble Drew Ali said, you don't do anything else, declare your nationality. But you must also learn etymology. You must also learn etymology, philology, astronomy. See, that's nature. Linguistics, we're born with that capacity. That's natural. Astronomy, astrology, that's natural, that's nature. And history, we have to learn this because we've been brainwashed to believe fake, fictitious histories. They're not histories at all, right? They're just his stories. Or like Dr. G says, his story. It's made up stuff. Okay, psychic attacks. All right, so why would they do that? Well, to steal your land, to steal your birthright, and to have you in a position where they control everything you do, the same way people have cows on a farm and sheep on a farm, right? They're on the farm so that you can control them and use them as resources. You live off of them. That's what's been done to y'all, or us as a people. Okay, anyway, let's continue. So hence the apostles' riddle about the first and second Adam, both meaning one and the self-same personification of the S-U-N Son. So personification, again, means to give man-like personality traits and characteristics and a biography to some thing that's not living, okay, or to some natural phenomena, like the sun sun. The first or falling atom, that's the sun from the summer solstice, will actually June 24 or 25, falling. Actually, no, it would have to be, I need to check it. I'm not sure what is, I'll just say for now, the sun is falling at June 21, 22. Why am I saying that? Because the sun at December 21, 22 stops casting a shadow. But the question is John the Baptist Day is the 24th or the 25th? I'm not going to go back. Later I'll do it. So Nolan Kovac says hi. Hi, Nolan. Okay, so now let's continue. So the first atom or falling atom being the sun sun, descending in the ecliptic. Descending in the ecliptic means it's falling south, right? It's moving toward either toward or below the autumn equinox. And shortening the days, the second atom, or the second sun is, or the second sun rather, the rising atom, being the sun ascending again. So the sun ascending is from the winter solstice, which would be December 25th. The exact beginning of December 25th, the sun begins to spring northward, it begins to ascend. That's the second atom. This is, of course, is Christ, right? Y'all got it? All right. So I think I just answered my question. So the sun at the summer solstice begins to descend on John the Baptist Day. I believe it's it has to be the end of June 24th, the exact beginning of June 25th. But I'll check it. Okay. So the sun, the days are getting progressively shorter and the nights progressively longer. So everyone sees it, right? Adam is the sun as it's falling south from the summer solstice. That's the first atom, and the second atom is the sun as it is ascending or rising or springing northward from December 25, which is near the winter solstice, okay? And then, of course, at June 21, the sun is at its highest point. The sun is the Christ. Y'all see it? So, in this case, Adam is the devil, right? Adam is the lower self. When Adam is transgressing, sinning, falling downward, moving south. And Adam is also what? The Christ. As Adam, or the sun sun, ascends, rises northward. Higher self and lower self, you are the devil and you are the Christ, depending on your thinking and behavior. Okay? All right. And you're against yourself. You're an antichrist in your lower self, right? You are opposing your higher self. You're being a Satan opposing the Christ who is your higher self. All right? In other words, you're working against yourself. You're destroying your own self. Anyway, let's continue. And thus the sun sun returning annually to his first degree of ascension on Christmas Day, December 25th, exactly at the beginning of December 25th, recalls the departed soul of Lazarus. So Lazarus come out, whom he loved, that's the year, who has been in a galloping consumption for a long while. Though, as he expressly tells you, quote unquote, this sickness is not into death. Okay, so why? Because he's fallen. Right? Lazarus, was he dead for 3 days, y'all? And he comes out, same story. Same story. Okay? That's the remix of the sun falling, of course, being dead, no shadow cast on the sundial, and then the sun springing forth and ascending. Lazarus is brought back to life. Hence, the Escheat sun speaks that sublimely allegorical and most correctly astronomical language, quote unquote, I am the resurrection and the life. That's what Jesus said, right? I'm the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall live. And whoever so liveth and believeth in me shall never die. So the Son repeats this process for eternity. Okay, y'all? All right. So give me 1 second. Let me get my breath. Thus the Escheat sun pledges to us not the foolish dream of the immortality of a man. That's what the gospel story tells you about Jesus, if you believe that he lived and walked the earth. The author is saying that that's a foolish dream, that you can live forever. I used to believe it, so I'm not putting anybody down. But the philosophical truth of the eternity of nature. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. I am the resurrection and the life. Nature. The sun comes up. The sun becomes our risen Savior. If the sun doesn't rise, the whole planet freezes and everything dies. He that believeth in me, he that believeth in nature, all the natural phenomena, including the zodiac, including the sun, of course, all of the light and energetic influences that govern not just the functioning and well-being of planet Earth, but of consciousness, the weather, and all things having to do with the physical world. He that believeth in me, in nature, observes nature, studies nature, lives in harmony with nature. He that lives in harmony with nature and lets nature be the guide of his life, though he were dead, though he was in religion, though he was civilly dead, though he was a Christian, a Muslim, though he was non-descendable, yet shall he live when he returns to nature, which means he returns to the Most High by following the Most High's instructions. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your ancient foremothers and your forefathers, so that it may go well with you in the land that I am giving you. Though he were civilly dead, yet shall he live when he returns to the Most High and follows natural law, lives according to nature, escapes religion, is no longer afraid of the devil, abandons or clears out, gets into his right mind, understands that these gospels are mythological stories, is no longer quoting scripture religiously, but if he quotes the scripture, he's quoting the scripture with its natural meaning, not the remix, but its meaning in nature. All right? So he is fully in nature, fully in the concrete Republican state of mind, self-governing in the higher self. Let me say it again. Self-governing. A higher self, man or woman, fully operating out of the Republican or self-governing state of mind. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Honor your ancient foremothers and forefathers. And whosoever liveth, higher self, man or woman, the Christ, and whosoever liveth, that means you are a more, you're living in the higher self, you're following those principles that we just talked about, and whosoever liveth and believe in me, that's nature, right? That's the eternity of nature, that you must live in harmony with nature in order to what? Keep the Most High's commandments. Otherwise, when you go against nature, you're going to be punished by a corrective force, cause and effect, etc. All right, so you shall never die. You'll never return to a civilly dead state. You will never be Civiliter Mortuus again. You'll be what? In your status as a more, as a rightful heir. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Right, y'all? Right? The natural and rightful heir of the entire planet. But let's just focus on North America. All resources, all land, all energies, terrestrial and cosmic, all the water, all the precious metals, all the precious and semi-precious gems, everything, all contracts and commerce. You're the rightful heir, a competent heir, a competent heir. And now, guess what? You can take back your birthright. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14. These are the blessings. Okay, happening at the level of one man and one woman. But when we reach that climactic mass, you know, y'all know the 100th monkey or the 99th monkey principle? Boom. That behavior is adopted by the entire nation of Moors. And the whole nation will be back where? Back in the blessings. I hope it's clear. I really, really hope that this is clear for everyone. I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, though he were civilly dead, he that believeth in nature, the eternity of nature, and your obligation to live in harmony with nature, yet shall he live, though he was dead. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Again, this is why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, if you don't do anything else, declare your nationality. And learn etymology. Learn astronomy. This is nature, linguistics, astronomy, astrology. That's nature. And you must learn history, because we have been fooled with the history, these fake histories from Josephus and the Gospels and all of this other stuff. Now, when you learn etymology, you begin to understand grammar rules, how they work, how they can be manipulated, how they have been used and manipulated, how etymology, how radicals are used and have been used to manipulate, to create meaning that's not there. Now, with these skills in mind, guess what? Now you got all of these skills. You can start to apply it to your knowledge of the Constitution, to your knowledge of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1836, and all of the other documents associated with that, right, y'all? And you do what? You begin to apply it to yourself to overcome those foes, those doubts about yourself, those warps in your self-image, right? You begin to identify and work out those distortions in your self-image until you achieve your true self, which is an undistorted self-image, which is your masculine, mental, gender energy. The perfect you that has no limitations. Anyway, let's continue. Thus the Son pledges to us, the S-U-N Son pledges to us, not the foolish dream of immortality of man, but the philosophical truth of eternity, of the eternity of nature, the truth of the eternity of nature. And so exactly is the astronomical truth observed, that it is just exactly nigh to the moment when Lazarus has been 4 days dead. That is, at the 4th day, that is, when the year has stood at winter solstice, December 21, 22, during which Jesus, that is, the S-U-N Son, abode still in the same place where he was. Okay, so there was no shadow cast on the sundial. That on the morning of Christmas Day, that's 12 noon, the very beginning of December 25th, he, or the Son, annually cries, Lazarus, come forth. Lazarus, come on out. And Lazarus, that is, the genius of Christmas Day. So Christmas Day is the personified Lazarus. Well, let me repeat that. Lazarus is the personified Christmas Day. Okay? And Lazarus, that is the genius of Christmas Day, does come forth shivering, freezing, deadly cold. So as just to say there, put with grave clothes. Yes, of course he's going to come out cold, right? It's wintertime. And his face wrapped up in a towel precisely as the dressers of a pantomime would send you up to the character Jack Frost, with a good dash of the flour bag rather, in his face. So I'm assuming that would be what? You're so cold that you become even more pale, right? And a cigar in his mouth. You might have taken Jack Lazarus for a white devil. I swear for God it say that. I swear for God. This is incredible. I wish y'all could have been in class yesterday, so y'all could have seen what an analysis of Ephesians chapter 6, 10 through 12 revealed. Y'all see this? White devil. I'm wondering if that's where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad got white devil from, y'all. I'm wondering if he got that from Lazarus, but he never told us. We thought he was talking about the colonizers by calling them white devils. Now, I'm saying that because, you know, he wears the headdress with the stars. So he was definitely into astronomy. Of course he knows this stuff, right? Of course. But you see the doublespeak, the forked tongue of these religious leaders, y'all? No offense if you are a black Muslim. What do they call the black, FOI? Fruit of Islam? Nation of Islam? No offense. Let's just deal with the information, okay? Jack Lazarus, Jack Frost, Lazarus, come on out, the white devil. And who then are these black ones? Who are these black devils? And who then are those black ones? The scorpions having stings in their tails. Ain't that the truth, y'all? These black devils, backbiters. Everybody knows this, right? Everybody knows this. It's the Moorish minions or the hybrids who have complexion like us, who are the backbiters, those devils. I think Tariq Nasheed calls these kind of people tares. I think he calls them tares. Noble Drew Ali and the Moors called them dirty Moors. These are the traitors. Okay, the black devils, the scorpions. And who then are those black ones, those black devils? The scorpions having stings in their tails, to whom it was given to hurt the earth for 5 months. Now, is this referencing Revelation, y'all? The book of Revelation? What are these 5 months? See, now that you know you have a basic understanding of astronomy and astrology, you should understand that these 5 dark months, since we're dealing with Scorpio, that's what? That's when the sun is falling down. Adam is sinning, transgressing. The number of dark time hours are increasing. Christ is being crucified, right? The man in his higher self is being spit upon, beaten, disrespected by the evil people, right? Lower self people. So these are the winter months. Clearly, the winter months. But let's continue. Evil versus good, y'all remember that whole story? Okay, but the allegorical genie of the scorpion of October, the Scorpio of October, followed by the 4 wintry months of November, December, January, and February. Hold on. Just a moment. All right, so let me go back up. And who then are those black devils? The scorpions having stings in their tails, to whom it was given to hurt the earth for 5 months. But the allegorical genie, or genii, of the scorpion or Scorpio of October, followed by, so in other words, October, followed by the wintry months of November, December, January, and February, all under the influence of Abaddon. Abaddon, the king of the bottomless pit. Now, let me show y'all something. So remember, we're in space. So the winter solstice, the sun can go no further south. So what's underneath? What's more south than the sun? It's a bottomless pit. There is no bottom. Y'all got it? And it's all what? All dark, all black. Let's continue. Okay? So these 5 wintry months are under the influence of Abaddon, the king of the bottomless pit. Now y'all know that's the devil, right? That's Satan the devil in religion. Also note that the bottomless pit is cold. It's not fire. It's cold. It's so cold. It's hot. Adrena Gooden writes, greetings of peace, Dr. Yusapa. Shalawama. Shalawama to you also. Good to see you. So here we go, y'all. Here we go. So they're all under the influence of Abaddon, the king of the bottomless pit, that is of that part of the earth's surface, which being turned from the sun, looks relatively downward toward the regions of infinite space, which literally and really is a bottomless pit. Boundless, bottomless, measureless, infinite. So these Moors are the traitors, those black devils, scorpions. Now y'all know that in the gospel story, Judas gives Jesus a gentle kiss. And the story says that he kisses him to identify him, to identify who Jesus is, so that the soldiers could take him captive, right? That's how the story goes. But first of all, what man kisses another man? Unless there's some homosexual stuff going on. Men don't kiss men. Someone may say, well, it was a long time ago. Maybe that was the culture for a man to kiss a man. But there's no record of that I know of. Doesn't make sense. I'm not going to kiss a man for any reason. And I think most men feel the same way, you know, unless they're homosexual or bisexual. But when the scorpion stings, the stinger is in the back, right? The backbiter. And as the story goes, that these scorpions in the Middle East, in that area where these things are allegedly to have occurred, when it bites you, there's two stingers and it looks like a kiss. Looks like two lips. You know, like a woman with lipstick on kisses you? It looks like that. Okay, y'all? So these are the betrayers, the dirty Moors, etc. Whatever you want to call them. These are people who commit treason, right? The people who commit treason. Those people who have a knowledge that treason is being committed and they participate indirectly. These are the black devils. And we all have come in contact with these type of devils, haven't we? In fact, they're the worst ones. In fact, the black devils have done us more damage as a people than the so-called white devils. Right? Because the black devil is the minion of the white devil. This is some funny stuff. I got to remember this. This is page 9. Page 90, y'all. Page 90, the second paragraph. Do we have anybody who knows about numerology? What's the numerological meaning of number 9? Or 92? Does anyone know that? I wonder if there's any significance as to why he put this on page 90. But I'll say this, the white devil, you will see him again if you thoroughly study Ephesians chapter 6. You will see the white devil again. Now let's continue. And what are the 7 churches? But the 7 remaining months. So 5 plus 7 is 12. Answering most strictly and literally in their very names. Now y'all check this out. And allegorical moral characters. So again, answering most strictly and literally. So strictly and literally, right? There's no doubt. In their names, so we can look at the names and identify these 7 months. We can look at when it says literally, we can look at the spelling or the radicals and the grammar rules, whatever. It's still going to identify the same information. And here's what it is. I lost my thought. Let me go back. And what are the 7 churches? But the 7 remaining summer months, most strictly and literally in their very names, so the names of each month, and allegorically moral characters to their physical antitypes in the 7 summer signs of the Zodiac. So in other words, the author is saying, hey, look, you can look at it etymologically, the grammar rules, You can look at the name itself, and you're going to see the remix directed or having its origin in natural physical phenomena. So let's see if the author actually shows it. Page 91. Page 91. I ask no more of the Christian than that he should deny the text of his own book. I ask no more of any man's credulity, his credit, then that he should not be unwilling to admit that 7 and 5 are 12. If you have any type of credibility, any type of character, you got to admit that 7 plus 5 is 12. For so sure as they are so, in other words, definitely 5 plus 7 does equal 12. So sure is this truth, but allegory, not fact, but a fable. So an allegory is not a fact, an allegory is a fairy tale, a myth. For look ye, sirs, if ever there were such a thing as allegory or fairy tales in the world, and the imaginative faculty in man could imagine the sun son to speak, what language could be imagined for him more characteristic than those words of Christ in the revelation of St. John, quote unquote, I am he who holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. Egregious raving and idiocy, in any meaning that your priest could give of it. Now y'all know these churches, these religions, they don't like to deal with the book of Revelation, right? They don't like to deal with it. In the religion that I was once in, they put out a red book called Revelation something. It was full of a lot of crazy stuff. And people actually, I think a lot of people began to complain. And they had, there's a witch, a type of art that's used in witchcraft. And you know, that organization is now widely known for using this type of art in its images. But they had a crab claw as a hand, as one of the hands of one of the angels when Christ was coming back or something like that. It's been so long, but it's right there in your face. But they eventually they stopped publishing that book. But the churches in general and the preachers in general, you rarely hear them say anything about Revelation. Why? Because it is purely astrological. They don't have an explanation unless they tell you the truth. Egregious raving and idiocy in any meaning that your priest, your pastor, your pope, your imam, your captain, your general could give you of it, sublimely beautiful and rich of science and truth. That's what? The astronomy, the astrology, the science and the truth. When interpreted by the key which itself presents to us in those words, quote unquote, the 7 churches which are Asia. That is most literally the 7 holy congregations or constellations which are in the land of fire, that is, in the sun's path. Well, the sun's path is the Zodiac, right? That's a Maserat, the Zoad. In the kingdom of heaven, that is, the reign of the 7 summer months. I'm gonna let y'all stew on that for a minute. So, when you interpret that verse, I am he who holdeth 7 stars in his right hand, and who walketh in the midst of 7 golden candlesticks. And the next verse in the next paragraph, quote, the 7 churches which are in Asia. That is most literally, why y'all? Because congregation means constellations, etymologically. That is most literally the 7 holy congregations. Holy being what? Set apart for a special purpose. The 12 constellations, the 12 zodiac signs are set apart from the other 48. They form what? They form a mazarad, a belt, a wheel, a zodiac. This is the old path. Okay, y'all? So the 12 zodiac signs are indeed holy. They're set apart in the shape of a belt, which is the path, set apart from the other 48. The 7 holy congregations, the 7 holy constellations, which are in the land of the fire. Right? The land of the fire. This is what? The pathway, the mazarot of the sun. Every year the sun goes around the zodiacal belt. Every year, once a year, the sun enters into each of the zodiac signs and passes through. Begins with the first, ends with the last, and it repeats again with the first. This is the land of the sun. So the land of the sun would be what? The summer months. Y'all got it? The reign of the 7 summer months. That's a land of the sun. Why? Because the sun is ascending and it's hot. Y'all got it? All right. The 7 stars, says the sacred text, are the angels of the 7 churches. And the 7 candlesticks are the 7 churches. Y'all got it? What are candlesticks but fixed lights? What are those fixed lights? In the midst of which the sun sun walketh? But those congregations or groups of fixed stars, through the midst of which lies the sun's, the sun sun's annual course of the zodiac. There you have it, y'all. There you have it. Y'all see how easily, how elegantly we understand these verses when using etymology, when using astronomy, astrology? Very simple to understand, right? But you're a priest, you're a pastor, you're a reverend, your church cannot do it. Go ask her. The church or constellation of Ephesus, of Thyatira, of Philadelphia, that's famous for us Moors, right? Philadelphia was before Washington, D.C. And y'all know Washington, D.C. originally is, I think it's Rome. It's Rome. I'm trying to remember the full name. Yeah, it's Rome. So Philadelphia, of Pergamos, of Sardis, of Smyrna, or Smyrna, and Laodicea. Whenever I see Laodicea, I think about this well, lady now, but we were kids back then. A girl that we grew up with, Laodicea. Whenever I see that, I always think Laodicea. Okay, so 1, Ephesus. From, and they give the Greek word, I'll show it, upon Hesus, H-E-S-U-S. So y'all should note the Latin termination U-S. And then we have H-E-S. So that sounds like Jesus. But anyway, let's continue. Right, because this is Greek, right? 1, Ephesus. From this Greek word, which means upon Hesus, H-E-S-U-S, the same as Jesus, J-E-S-U-S, which is Y-E-S-U-S. The Gaelic name for the god Mars, whence our English name for March, who is the Lord of hosts of the Old Testament, and the Lamb of Gad, G-A-D, of the New. So y'all check this out. You don't have to believe me. Let me show you. Number 1, on the replay, y'all watch this on the replay. Pause it. Y'all go ahead and read that for yourself. Ephesus. Right here where my fingers are. Are y'all able to see it? So the author told us that the names of each of the churches provides clear evidence, as well as okay. What did he say here? He says, and what are the 7 churches? We just read them. But the 7 remaining summer months, answering most strictly and literally in their very names, an allegorical or allegorically moral character to their physical antitypes. Okay, so the god of Mars. The god of Mars. Y'all see it? So let me do Ephesus one more time and then we'll move on to the other ones, okay? Ephesus. From, we have the Greek word upon Hesus. So let me show y'all that. That's the same as Jesus. Do y'all see the power of etymology, the power of history, and the power of astronomy, astrology? Do you see why we need to have this book of the law rewritten? Why I'm the one to do it? Why we need to write the book of the law in Ancient Ibaryath and modern English, showing each word, its etymological meaning, and the radical, its radical or radicals, and how the word is constructed, its morphology. Y'all see why it's necessary now? See, we look at this and we're getting a completely different understanding. Completely different understanding of what you've been taught your whole life. Your whole life. All of this information is locked inside of the words. I hope I've demonstrated this point successfully. Those of you who have it in your heart and you want us to have the book of the law, you want this project to be a success, thank you in advance if you choose to contribute toward it. The link to my PayPal is in the description area of this video. PayPal.me/Zion Law School. But the link is in the description area of the video. Ephesus, from the Greek word that I showed, Hessus, H-E-S-U-S. You see they play around with the letters, right? With the spelling. The same as Jesus, J-E-S-U-S, Y-E-S-U-S, right, y'all? Remember, both of these maintain the Latin suffix or the Latin terminal, U-S. Okay, now what is this? It's the Gaelish name for the god of Mars. For the god of Mars. Whence our English name for March, the month of March. Now, isn't March one of the months when the sun is rising? Y'all? Absolutely. March is Gad. Aries the Lamb. The sun is ascending. Springtime. Okay, y'all? Who is the Lord of hosts? How is he the Lord of hosts? Because Gad means Aries. So God is the Lord of hosts. In other words, Aries is the beginning or the first of the 12 constellations, according to modern astrology. Y'all got that? Okay? So the god, so Hessus is the Gaelish name for the god Mars, from which we get the English word March. And March is the Lord of hosts. Why? March is the Lord of hosts in the Old Testament and the Lamb of Gad, G-A-D. Gad, Gid, Gad, Gad. Remember that, y'all? Of the New. The Lamb of God of the New Testament. To this church, that is to Ephesus, Christ threatens that he will come and remove its candlestick out of its place. And by the well-known movement of the heavenly bodies called the procession or precession of the equinoxes, this candlestick, which 388 years before our Christian era was the first of the churches, has been removed out of its place. And the equinoctial point, which was then in the first degree of Aries, is found at present to have left the second of the fishes. Y'all see that? So the precession of the equinoxes is, of course, when the zodiacal age changes. Wow, I don't know if y'all heard anything. I lost my connection, but I'm back. Well, let me keep going. Okay, so at the time Christ was on the earth, the zodiacal age was Aries. That's where the Jewish people blew the shofar, right? And then the Christian era, the zodiacal age changed and became Pisces. Y'all see it? Hence, Christ threatens that he will come and remove its candlestick out of its place. He would remove Aries from being what? And by its well-known movement of heavenly bodies called the precession of the equinoxes, this candlestick, Aries, which 388 years before our Christian era, was the first of the churches. So what? The year began in Aries. That's what, because it was the zodiacal age Aries. So the zodiacal age changed to Pisces. Now what? 388 years before our Christian era was the first of the churches, has been removed out of its place, and the equinoctial point, which was then in the first degree of Aries, is found to be at present in Pisces. So in Pisces, you look up in the morning over the horizon. Let's say this is the horizon. Let me move out of the picture. Oops. You look up over the horizon at about 5:30 in the morning. Let me see, like this. About 5:30 in the morning, 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, to the east, you're going to see what? Pisces. All right? So, it changes. This process is called the precession of the equinoxes. So each constellation is a candlestick. All right, y'all? Let's see. So let's stop here. We're 2 hours in. So we're going to pick back up at Thyatira. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, we'll pick back up with Thyatira. So I like this chapter. Plus, I'm tired, y'all. I need to eat something. What time? It's I got an appointment. I done lost track. Oh, I gotta go. Anyway, thanks everyone for supporting my work. Those of you who have bought my books, thank you. Much appreciated. It helps me a great deal. Not just to keep things going, but just to see that people are interested and are buying the books. It makes it feel like I'm not doing this for my health, right? That some people are interested. Of course, I know most people are not interested, but that's not who I'm trying to reach anyway. I'm just putting my message out for those people who have ears to hear and eyes to see, those people who are ready for it. Okay, so I'm the teacher. If you're ready for it, the teacher has appeared. Thanks everyone for subscribing to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. And everybody's invited to attend. Y'all can come check out 506 The Curses course for a couple classes. Make sure you read the course description. Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all should have been there this morning if you're in North America. It was a lot of fun. And we discovered a lot of stuff. A lot of like, oh, wow, kind of stuff. Dealing with Ephesians 6. I think it's 10 through 13, 10 through 15. Dealing with the hybrids, pale face, or y'all come to class, y'all can get it. I'm not going to say because the scholars who are there pay tuition. So if y'all want that, y'all have to come to class. But you don't have to pay to come to class. You can come to class until you decide whether or not you want to stay. You don't have to pay anything. The important part is for you to come and learn. Okay? Anyway, Islam to all the Moors and Shalom. I'll see y'all in 12 or 24 hours.